Some people don't realize this, but the hardest part of healing is not the pain, it's the identity you build around the pain. Because after a while, your anxiety stops feeling like something you have. It starts feeling like who you are. And honestly, that's why so many people stay stuck. Not because they don't want to be better, and not because they are lazy, not because they are too emotional, but because the version of them that survived became the version they kept living as. And the crazy part is, it can feel safer to stay familiar than to become free. Because healing is not just letting go of the people, it's letting go of patterns. It's letting go of emotional reflexes. It's letting go of who you had become to make it through. And by the way, if you're new here, I'm Sarah. I talk about psychology in a way that is honest and real, because I know what it feels like to repeat things you don't understand. Now listen, if you have ever told yourself, I don't know why I keep doing this, but you keep doing it anyway, this video is going to hit you in your chest. Because what happened is your pain becomes your personality. Not because you want attention, but because pain is what trained you. Pain taught you how to think, how to react, how to love, how to protect yourself, how to survive in relationship. So when someone says, just choose better, it feels insulting because you are not choosing from freedom. You are choosing from wiring. And the truth is, healing is not just feeling better. Healing is choosing new identity when your body still wants the old one. Here's the thing. Your identity is not just, it's not something you just decide. It's something you repeated until it felt true. If you grow up in chaos, you just don't become an adult who likes peace. You become an adult who feels suspicious of peace. Because when you think about it, peace feels like waiting for the next hit. So your nervous system stays awake. It starts to scan. It's preparing. And that becomes you. You become the strong one, the one who handles it, the one who doesn't need anyone, the one who always figures it out. But that strong version of you was not created to thrive. It was created to cope. And coping is not the same as living. You can be healed and still not feel safe. This is the part nobody talks about. You can be healing and still feel uncomfortable in your healing, because healing changes your instincts, and your instincts don't like change. So you start setting boundaries and feel guilty. You start resting and you feel lazy. You start choosing better and you feel like you are doing something wrong because your old identity was built around a struggle. So when a struggle is gone, you feel empty. Not because something is wrong, but because your brain is like, wait, who are we now? That's why people go back to toxic love. That's why people go back to excess. That's why people go back to overworking. That's why people go back to chaos friendships. Because healing is quiet. And for some people, quiet feels unsafe. And honestly, a lot of what you call bad decisions is actually attachment wiring. Attachment theory explains this so clearly. When you grow up with inconsistent emotional safety, you don't just crave love. You crave reassurance, you crave closeness, you crave proof. So you pick people who keep you guessing because it matches your childhood rhythm. And it's not because you are broken, it's because your nervous system learned love in that way. Fast, unavailable, love that have to be earned, conditional. So when healthy person shows up, is steady, consistent, and simple, your body calls it boring. But it's not boring, it's just unfamiliar for you. This is where it gets real. Healing isn't just changing habits. Healing is betrayal to the version of you that survived. Because that version of you says, don't trust anybody, stay ready, don't relax, don't need too much, don't ask for more, don't get your hopes up. And when you start healing, you start doing the opposite. You start trusting, you start slowing down, you start receiving, you start wanting more. And that old version of you panics because she thinks you are about to get hurt again. So, what happens is you sabotage your own healing just to feel in control again. That's why some people start doing better and suddenly they start acting worse. Not because they are fake, because their survival identity feels threatened by peace. And this is where I need you to understand something deep. Your body does not care what you know. Your body cares what you lived. You can read the books, you can watch the videos, you can understand the patterns, but when you are triggered, your body will choose the old you unless you train the new you. And honestly, psychiatrists like Dr. Bruce Perry have explained for years that brain organizes itself around what it experiences, especially earlier on. And that repeated stress trains your body to live in protection mode. So when you think about it, your reactions are not random. They are rehearsed. This is the identity shift. Because for some people, pain becomes the center of who they are. Not on purpose, but because pain took up all the space. So when healing starts, it creates emptiness. And emptiness feels scary because pain was familiar. Pain gave you a role, the role of a strong one, the role of a fixer, the one who endures, the one who takes less, the one who stays too long. So healing asks you a hard question. Who are you? When you stop over explaining, who are you? When you stop chasing, who are you? When you stop proving, who are you? And when you stop begging for consistency. And that's why healing requires choice. Not the motivational quote kind. I mean real choice. The kind that says, I know this is familiar, but I'm not living in familiar anymore. Here's the thing. Healing isn't one big decision. Healing is daily identity practices. It looks like this. You don't text back right away because your anxiety wants relief. You sit with the discomfort. You don't over apologize because you are scared of being rejected. You breathe. You stay steady. You don't explain your boundaries to people who only understands you when you had no boundaries. They were used to you when you had no boundaries. You choose the version of you that doesn't abandon yourself. That's healing. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It's quiet self-respect. And this is the part I love. Healing isn't becoming someone new. Healing is becoming someone true. Because the real you was there before survival hijacked you. The real you is not just the protector. The real you is the person who deserves love, that feels safe. The real you is the person who doesn't have to earn peace. And when you finally shift identity, you stop asking, how do I fix myself? And you start asking, how do I stay loyal to the healed version of me? Because when you think about it, that is the actual battle. Not the pain, but loyalty to yourself. So if this hit you, if you feel emotional, but relief, that's not weakness. That's your nervous system recognizing the truth. And I need you to remember this. You can't heal in the same mindset that kept you alive. But you can grow from it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on my next video.